I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I am working in my fall traveler's notebook, just some fall favorites, and I'm going to be documenting school pictures. I love that my kids are back to doing school pictures. We, of course, didn't have them last year when they were doing virtual school, so it's awesome that they're back and doing some great fall pictures. So I thought I would document their school pictures, and I have a few things pulled out. These are some ephemera I had in my stash, and I don't know if these are from By the Will for God or if they're from Illustrated Faith. They're from one of those places, but I just loved the watercolor kind of look here, and so I thought I would use a few of these ephemera pieces, these florals. I think this is Illustrated Faith. Now that I'm looking at it, this one definitely seems like Illustrated Faith. So I have a few of those just that were in my stash, and I have scraps from Felicity Jane because that is what I'm trying to focus on using for this particular fall traveler's notebook. I'm kind of scrapping my stash, and I want to always encourage you guys to do that. If you have a ton like I do, then it's time to like dig in and use what you have before you buy new things. So that's what I'm focused on today. I will definitely put you guys on fast forward. I'll link the sites down below for Illustrated Faith and Felicity Jane if you want to check those out. Otherwise, let's go. So this year my kids got very excited for picture day because they did not have one last year, and they have been recently really into looking through old yearbooks, and so they were really pumped for picture day because these are the pictures that'll go in their yearbooks. Now these are not the picture day pictures from the school. These are the ones I took beforehand, before they went to school and got all dirty and messed up before the pictures, which always tends to happen. So I have these cute pictures to kind of document the day and the story of how excited they were, and I'm just going to use 3 big chunks of scraps, starting with this kind of mustard yellow color. And I thought I'll use these 3 colors to kind of highlight each kid in their own way, and we'll use the wood tone at the bottom and kind of have this like building block. So I love the torn look at the top. I love this kind of column overlap look, and so that's what I'm going to go with. So we will add just some adhesive on the back. I'm not quite sure how tall I want it, so I just kind of picked a general area, and then I will make sure it kind of lines up with the side over here, which was a little bit easier said than done at the beginning. All right, got it all lined up, trimming off the bottom, and then it just needed a little bit more adhesive to make sure it was secure here on the bottom. Got that in place, and then I will work on the next layer. Now this one is going to go over the center of the 2 spreads, so I did want to go ahead and cut it because I'm also going to cut it down the middle. I didn't want to do the folding of paper in between the pages because that doesn't tend to work well, in my opinion, as you open and close the book over time. So I do like to go ahead and cut these pieces apart and line them up over this gutter area just so that they have room to close just a little bit of space between the pages so that they don't bend up when you when they run into each other in the middle, if that makes sense. And then this piece will be at the bottom, and I'll just scoot it down just a bit. So we'll trim off, about an inch or so, and then attach that, and that'll kind of be the background of the page. If you remember, for this traveler's notebook, I'm trying really hard to keep the pages rather simple as far as their composition. Nothing too complicated, no like crazy techniques or anything, but just a way to use up scraps that I have in my stash and to document some of my favorite things about the fall. These photos are printed in black and white, and I thought to help them pop off their little color columns, I would also mat them on black and white patterned paper. It's fun to kind of combine all of these different patterns because it's something that I wouldn't normally do. This is like pattern on pattern, and I definitely don't dress pattern on pattern, so I think it's fun to kind of play with that aspect. And because it's a black and white pattern, it's pretty simple, but so far that's 6 different patterns on the page. Originally, I looked in my stash to see if I had some fall ephemera that might be really effective, but then when I was searching through what I had, I found these floral pieces, and I love them. I love the watercolor look. I love the sketch over the watercolor. I think these are just gorgeous, gorgeous pieces. And so I thought, why not use these? Why not combine them? I think they are so striking, and some of the Felicity Jane patterns are rather neutral just in their patterns. And so I thought they would actually go together really well. I think they work really well together. I'm using some Distress ink, one of the small little square pads, to add a little bit of ink to the side. This is weathered wood, and these will make it pop off a little bit. I was thinking that maybe I would trim them down because it does have a pretty large border, but in retrospect, I decided to just go ahead and add a little bit of color to the border. It distresses it just a little bit and does make it pop off the color on the background, which I think is pretty nice. This distress pad was pretty inky though, so I definitely had to pull out my Ranger heat tool to make sure all of the edges were dry, just so that the ink didn't like smear all over the place. So just making sure they're dry before I start adhering everything down to the paper. And you can see I'm just using the florals to kind of connect to the pictures in a different way. And each kid has their own kind of color in the background, and it divides them up nicely. I think it came out really cute. I'm really pleased with how the background came out with the florals and layering of the different pieces. All right, so once all of that is in place and has the adhesive and everything, I'm looking through my stash to see what else I can add. And I have pulled out all of my chipboard pieces, and I have them in a clear acrylic container on my desk so that I can grab them easily. And I love all of these circular pieces. I don't want to add a ton of dimension in this particular traveler's notebook, but a few chipboard pieces here and there would be nice. And I thought that these popped off nicely on the corners of each photo, gave each photo its own little detail. And then I also went through my washi tape stash, and I found this great washi tape. I believe this is from Paper House Productions, and it is like this birch tree, black and white, it has a little bit of metallic in it. I think it is so pretty, and I thought the black and white fall feel kind of came through with this particular tape. First I tried to kind of mesh it up together and add some texture, but then in the end I decided just a strip of washi tape behind where each circle would be just kind of added a nice little detail there that helped the circles pop off. And then I'm going to go through and actually add the washi tape in a few other sections. Washi tape is one of those supplies that I have had forever. I've had a ton of washi tape in my stash forever, and I'm really trying to use more of it because I think it's a great way to add just a little extra detail to a lot of your different layouts, to your planners, just to a lot of different projects. And I'll use washi tape up at the top to kind of anchor where the title is going to be on my page. And you can see this helps move the black and white across the page, brings the black and white a little bit more into the spread, which kind of works well with the pictures. And I really, really liked this washi tape for sure. Okay, so next up is actually putting together the title, and I'm going to use a variety of Felicity Jane alphas, and I will spell out school pics, and I'm actually putting it on this clear divider. You can use a ruler or something like that. It's just going to help me position where the title will go just to make sure my spacing is correct. And you can see I'm just mixing and matching the alphas, which is another thing that I've really been enjoying lately. I think it adds interest, and especially for something with my kids, it has this kind of childlike feel that I think goes really nicely. So school pics is what I'm going to title that, and it does fit pretty well. And then I'm able to place it pretty easily by just pressing the top, and then you lift up and just kind of pull out the clear piece behind it, and a couple of pieces came off, and I'll just put those alphas down, and ta-da, it has a title. It came out really well. Next thing, I'm looking to see if I want to add enamel dots. I think I'll hold off on those for just a minute. I will go ahead and fill in where some journaling will go. I'm using a gray pen, which is my new kind of go-to journaling pen. It changes it up from black. It's kind of a lighter look, so I'll just add a few lines for some quick journaling, fill that in, and then look to see where I can add a few more details as far as embellishment details that might kind of bring in some more interest. When you're working in a traveler's notebook, it's not this huge spread. So it is all about the little details. You can't do a million things on the page, but the little details that you can add really do make a difference. So I'm going to use these enamel dots, and with each picture, I'm going to add kind of a spray of enamel dots over at the bottom of the picture where the washi tape is, because it just brings the color over there in that direction a little bit. So I'll use the same three colors, but different size dots on each picture. So gonna go with yellow with my son Austin, and then we will do the light pink over on Bradley. And I just like that little bit of color, a little bit of raised detail near the pictures. Just came out really, really nicely. All right, the last step for this page will be adding a little bit of stitching detail around the edge with my pen, just a fake stitch look, just to kind of focus in the spread. It's one of the techniques I really like, and I've already used it in this album, so I think it works really well in creating a cohesive album. Thanks for joining me today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. Like I said before, a lot of the pieces in here are from my stash. I'll definitely leave some links to the companies below in case you want to check any of those out. I also want to give a huge shout out to my Scrappy YouTube members. Thank you so much for all of your support. You make this channel possible. If you're interested in becoming a Scrappy YouTube member, then make sure to click that join button or check the link in the description box below. All right, I hope that you have a fabulous day. And as always, keep it creative.